Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Um, it is Monday, and so it's time for stream. Today we are going to be working on some website stuff. We have there was an audit of the Andromeda website, looking at some accessibility things and among other things, and a handful of bugs that were noticed. So we're gonna go ahead and go fix those because bugs are bad and accessibility is important. So we're going to basically go through those and fix the issues and go from there and see where that gets us and where we go. So I have it pulled up. Oops, I'm dropping things. That's not going to help. Um, we have it pulled up here. And so that helps. There we go. We have the code here and I have it running. So in theory, we should have it running on localhost 8080. Let's find out. Hi, some bugs are good. Yeah, coffee bug. Indeed. So coffee. Everybody has their coffee. I definitely do. Not sure it's wise for me to be drinking this much coffee this late, but here we are. I hope y'all have thine beverages of choice. Mine will probably forever be the coffee because that is how we roll. All right. So first, hey, Unstoppable X, how's it going? So our first issue, I'm going to leave that in progress and find out what the issue is. Blog list should show updated instead of published. Currently, the blog list shows the published date, but when an article is updated a year or more after publication, this makes it appear to be sorted in error, as illustrated with the screenshot below. That's true. The subgrid was actually edited recently to the subgrid blog post to edit to account for the fact that when the article was first written, subgrid was not supported everywhere, and now it is. It has reached support across all major browsers, so the blog post was edited to reflect that. However, it now puts it in the wrong place in the list. So let's figure out why. So if I go here, we see subgrid was originally written in April 20th of 2023. And so here between two March blog posts. So that is interesting. So it should show updated instead of published date. All right, so let's go find in the code where our blog post is. So if I go to my blog posts, which should be this would be the list. Excuse me. So if I go to, where did I put the blog post? Probably under pages. Do we have a pages? There we go, blog. We have the blog list, which goes ahead and does the loop. Now I'm kind of curious if this is an issue in other places. So for example, this is CSS and this is CSS. So let's find out if it also flubs on the CSS post. It does. January 23rd. Yes, it does pose an issue there. So it is incorrectly sorted there. Is it incorrectly sorted? So I wrote these three. So in theory, if I go to my own page, is it incorrect there as well? Let's find out. It is incorrect there as well. Okay, so let's fix that. So we need the display in all of the places basically to be the updated date if there is one. So to look for the updated date, so we're pulling, please tell me I have this as a component. Include blog postcard, and that would be why it is so beautifully consistent. So if I go to blog postcard, there we go. So see, we have the published, so publication date. So what we need to do is do the updated date, and if there isn't one, then go for the published. So let's look at the data to find out what the actual property is, because I don't remember what the actual property is. So it's going to be under collections JSON. We need to find the collection of blogs. There we go. There's the blog. And so here's the content ID, published, related. So we haven't updated in the meta, but that is updated null. So it's dumbly updated. So this one has an updated. There we go. All right, so we do, nope, that's the meta. Why is my cursor being dumb? Or my scroll? This is really odd. Okay. It's like it wants to go one way and then the other way. It's confused. I think it's just updated. All right. There's a lot of blog posts, so it could be any number of things, but I think it's just updated. So we're gonna do post.updated or, and this is liquid, so or, I think. We'll find out. I don't know if it's literally wants the or if it's gonna do well, it didn't barf, so that's good. So now if I go back here, oh, it's true. That's not helpful. Let's try with just this then, with a pipe. Okay, so now we're not getting it with the or pipe. Okay, let me look up how that's done in liquid, because I don't, liquid, liquid template language. That's for ifs. We're looking for right. So we're gonna have to, that's a filter, that's awesome. Can we do a default? I think we can. Variations, not helpful. Types, that's great. I think we can do a default. So if I remember correctly, you can do, it's like type default. If I do that, does that actually work? That did work. Okay, good. So we have, however, we'll notice that one has been made pretty and not the other. We'll notice the format difference. So the one thing I do need to do is take that and also put it in our time in here, which is fine. So we're going to do post.updated and then default. And then what we want to do is we still need to get on the blog post, that publication date. We need an updated date. Actually, let's be smart. Let's clean that up. We don't need to do it in the HTML. Let's keep the HTML nice and clean. Actually, no. Let's do that because I think that in the blog itself we already have the value cleaned up, because in the blog itself we show updated dates versus, I believe we show the updated date versus the published and updated. So we do have an updated date already formatted, and that's what I need to go find, is the formatted value. And the formatted value, let's look at the blog. So that's the blog pages. I want a page. Blog post. In the blog post somewhere, we should have updated. There we go. Time, date, time, updated date. That's the one we want. That's the formatted version. So if I change this to, now this date time, we do want to keep the clean version. However, or the ISO version. But over here in the visible to humans, we want the formatted version. So human versus machines, yay. So if I go back this way, there we go. Now it's formatted correctly. It shows when it was updated. Great. And we're good. And so the date is now correctly shown for when it was last touched. So we see that the update was that it's now accepted on all major versions. Cool. And now this guy, for example, that does not have an update, does not have that property, and still shows May 19th and May 19th. Perfect. So that's that one. Let's make a branch, because these are individual tickets. So let's do git checkout -b bug fixes. And we're going to add that, and that was 171. So we're gonna do git. I realize that is probably quite small. Let's make that bigger. Oh, why is it not letting me make it bigger? There we go. So git status, git add that, git commit -m web 171, and that was blog list date. Actually, before I commit that, let's double check that it fixed it in all the other places that we had. So here it's fixed on, like in the tag page, so that works. Here it's fixed on, is it March 7th? Yes. So this is on the author page. Perfect. Categories. Let's look at the technology page. I didn't look at the technology page. It is fixed there as well. So we're good. All right. So now we can commit that and move on to the next one. Cool. What's our next one? I'm just going to make one big PR with all of this. It's not how I usually would work, but these are, I had a chance to look at some of these before, and they were small enough to not be worth a bunch of things. All right, over here we have blog title color doesn't pass color contrast. In light mode, the yellow-orange blog title text doesn't pass color contrast. Either the banner background color needs to be darker, or the orange color needs to be made darker. Does it give me any more specifics? Oh, yeah, I'm glad. Can I have a indication of which specific HTML pieces this is? Because this is only mildly helpful. Does it have screenshots? No, it does not. Okay. That's not helpful. So it's the blog color title. So let's go in light mode. Blog color title. I think what it's referring to is this. So if I do inspect, and let's find some of our tools. Oops, not what I meant to do. Inspect. And let's do, I'm gonna do this guy. That shows. Great, what about you? It doesn't tell me the color. That's annoying. It doesn't tell me whether it passes. This one will tell me if it passes or not, but not this one. Interesting. Or it won't tell me what the actual, that's annoying. Let's do this really quick. Pass. Scanning. Scanning and not getting me anything. Still not, well, that's obnoxious. Is it because, well, no, having the dev tool open doesn't usually cause a problem. I'm gonna close them just for good measure. Right, now can you work correctly? Nope. It's just really hating again. All right, let's try something else because it's the same tools under the cover. Do I have it? No. Let's load it then. Let's go to, because I don't think I have axe loaded. No. So let's go to more tools. Where's more tools? There's more tools. Let's do, does that know where the extensions are? Manage extensions. Let's add Chrome Web Store. Let's look for axe. There we go. There we go. Cool. So now I should be able to go back. We can go. I need to close DevTools and reopen them. Yep. And now I should have, there we go. Let's, yeah. Go away. I'm gonna do full page scan. You have rerun scan. Great. What in the world, Chrome? Start new scan. All right. That's interesting enough. There we go. Okay. So, can you highlight? CSS subgrid, okay. Link must have discrete. I think we have a different story for that, so we'll deal with that later. Okay, so it is in fact that one. So we need to figure out this yellow. This yellow is coming from where? Layout. Compute styles. All right, here's the color. I have a hard time believe that's hard-coded. Oh, it is. Interesting. So it's fine in dark mode. Reload this so we can get rid of this box. So it's fine in dark mode, but not in light mode. Okay. And it is in block post. So let's go find block post. CSS. And so here's that yellow in question. And so it's perfectly fine in dark mode. Let's figure out what our colors are here. We do have an accent color here, and we have, does dark have it? Dark does not have an equivalent. The accent color is actually not bad. We could go for accent color, honestly. Let's find out if how that works. If we do that. That still works. And as far as the color contrast works, let me do this, see if it's not, nope, not what I meant to do. Not what I meant to do. Do I have wave? Let's do wave. I like wave for this. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. So if I do wave, there we go. And we go to colors. Where do we not pass? The heck? Oh, it's the updated. Let me see if there's stories for that. What are all the stories? Are there color contrast? Dark mode has color contrast issues. There we go. Okay. Whoever wrote these tickets would be nice to tell me what page, or at least me give some inquiry, because this does not tell me what page it was run on for the most part, I don't think. We'll double check. Oh, it does. CSS parent selector. So it's on a blog. Okay, it's on the blog proper. So we can deal with all those color contrasts in one go. Let's deal with this first though. So if I go back here, we'll fix that and those will go away. We'll see what else we've got in terms of color contrast issues. So, but this now passes. If I refresh this and go to light mode, we're significantly darker. And now do we pass? We still don't pass on that. Why? Inspect colors. So we still don't pass. If I increase the darkness, we pass on large. Are we considered large? That's the other question. Colors. Oh, it is considered large, but it's still too small. Oh, it's still too light. So we need to bring this down just a hair. There we go. So not much. But let's go change it in our theme because it's probably going to fix other things as well. So we'll do that accent color becomes that. And so now we should be in good shape. So if I refresh and we do that again, contrast, we pass on everything. There's no contrast errors. Now if I go to dark mode and we do that again, we still have errors. We have these errors, so we need to find out where those are coming from. We'll start there. So if I figure out this guy, bar neutral. Let's see where neutral. Neutral is that on light mode, and neutral in dark mode. And dark mode is the same. Not quite the same. It is a hair bit lighter. Let's see how far we need to pull it back for it to actually work. Um, so for that to actually work here, if I go back to wave and we go color contrast errors and we go find that one, perfect. How much lighter in this case, since we're in dark mode, do we need to go for it to pass? And now this is going to be small text. There we go. That's your 4.5. We're good. So not much. It just needed a hair to be able to pass. So here on the dark mode, because this is our dark mode colors. Yep. We're going to change that neutral. And now in theory, if we reload this and play this game again, cool. Now we pass. Perfect. Perfect. Let's check the blog list really quick. I'm going to go back to the blog list just for good measure. We're going to do the same thing on the color contrast. Beautiful. And if I do switch over to light mode, wave. Beautiful. Okay. So that deals with our color contrast errors from that count. So from there, let's figure out what were those ticket numbers. Go back to dark mode. I much prefer dark mode personally. So we had one, and that's the color contrast. Okay, so we are going to, so it's 172 and 174. Git add both of those. Okay, commit -m web -172 and web 174 fix color contrast issues. All right. So now we have social media widget needs discernible text for links. Currently, the social media widget has an alt attribute on the link, but that isn't valid. We should have a title aria label. Oh, that's weird. I mean, I coded that, so why would I have coded it that way? That sounds really, really weird. I don't know what I was thinking that day. I probably wasn't. So let's look at the social media. Oh, yeah, because I was thinking image. Okay, so that's going to be an ARIA label, not an alt, and that should fix that issue. Let's look at it did catch it earlier. So if we go to somewhere with the social medias, right, these guys, I think, or if I go inside a blog post, I think they're at the bottom of the blog post. Nope. All right, let's go back to, oh, actually, maybe. Yeah, they're there. Okay. So if I do, let's just use wave. It was working beautifully for us. Errors. Empty link. Those were the 3 empty links, right? So we're seeing the error here. So now if I go, instead of alt, which is incorrect, alt only works on images, we do an ARIA label, which is what it should be. We should be able to refresh that. Refreshed itself. Perfect. And now if we go and do wave, our errors went away. Cool. And we now have a clean page. We do have some alerts. So while we're in here, might as well go ahead and take a peek at those to figure out what they are. Long alt text. Yes. Because some of those have a lot that makes sense. That would make sense for that to have long alt text. So yes, because there's just a lot to describe regarding those specific images, and they have specific meaning they're trying to convey, and if it's not conveyed, then you lose some on the article. So that makes sense that they would be long. Okay. So that takes care of that. What was our ticket number on that? That was 173. All right. Status. Git commit -m web 173 fix link discernible text for social media widget. Cool. And so that kind of takes care of our kind of low-hanging fruit. Related blog posts show blank when unpublished. Okay. Need an API endpoint to pull blog articles by slug. Okay. Professional training, dynamic page PDF, web assessment page request. Okay. Let's start with this one. Let's find out what it wants. One common use of related blog post feature is to create a content series. However, if we publish a blog post that relates to other blog posts that aren't yet published because they're a blank card is inserted on the page for each unpublished blog post. It would be much more helpful if these cards could simply be hidden from the page until the blog post they are related to gets published. That would allow use to plan ahead instead of manually editing blog posts in time series. All right, so that's kind of its own. It's not really a bug. It's a new feature enhancement request. All of these were much more the bugs, and the rest of this is not bugs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hold that one, call that one done, because this is the bug squashing, and go ahead and put that one up for PR, and then go for the next one, which is completely unrelated. So git push, set up stream origin, bug fixes, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to Bitbucket and go pull request that. As soon as I pull up Bitbucket and it's all of its beautiful things, projects, web, there we go. Ta-da! So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our pull request. We're gonna create, nope, create pull request. There we go. Bug fixes. We've got, I'm gonna put in the title to make it easy for the reviewer. 171 web 172 and web 173. Oh, and we have 4 too. (173) and web 174. This is case sensitive for being able to get those in there. And basically it's bug fixes, specifically accessibility and whatnot. We're gonna add some reviewers. We're gonna delete that after we're done merging, and we're gonna pull request that puppy. Now we're gonna go to the next thing. So the next thing was, so these are all in pull request, and that should have updated. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're gonna deal with this guy. Deal with it on its own. So 169. Latest pull. Go to our trunk branch and get out -b. What did I say it was? 169, I think. Yeah, 169. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and take care of that. It is. The coffee's almost empty. Hey, Bull, hey, Beath, if you're still listening, I have a crisis. I have a crisis. The coffee's almost empty. I don't know if he's still here, but... Or X. I don't know if either one of them is still listening. Anywho. Alright, 169 is... What essentially we need to do is when we're building the related blog post, we need to make sure that that blog post is published. That's the kind of, or it needs to be omitted from the list of potentials, right? He's still listening. We have a crisis. I'm out of coffee. Anyway, if I go to, so what I did is when we get the data in from the CMS, right? What happens is we go ahead and have a little bit of the data tools, and we do handle blog over here. And it does a lot of things at recombining all of the things together. But I think if I go ahead and filter out anything that is unpublished, that should solve the... No, it won't solve the issue, because you could technically refer to it and just have it not published. So when we do related, where do I do the related? There we go. Related blog post. Go to definition. Great. Where else do we have related blog post? At some point we have to define what those are. Oh, if they're manually done. Got it. So we're mapping over here in the post.related blog post. What we're essentially doing is we're mapping the blog post. So if the blog post cannot be found in the list, or is not published yet, or is unpublished, it should get ignored. So what it essentially needs to do I wonder why it's doing that. So if I do, because related blog post, this would be an undefined, right? If the blog post isn't published yet, if it doesn't exist. So essentially what you're doing is ends up being undefined and not null. So let's do an undefined and then a null, and then see what happens in the UI when I do that on a blog. So if I do an undefined and then a null on the related blog posts, neither one of them shows. Very interesting. Very interesting. So how do we even get to where you have to have an empty object? I give it an empty object. Nope. Oh, I know what the deal is. Hold on. When I handle those, I actually need to restart. I can't let the hot reload do because it doesn't, it looks like it took effect, but it didn't. Rethink. Rethunk. Alright, so there's where we're getting, if it's undefined or null, we're actually getting the empty card. Thank you. So what we want to do is filter out anything that's undefined or null, essentially. Once we've gone ahead and done the map, if we did not find the blog post because it has not been published yet, or it has, and because if it's unpublished, it shouldn't come to us to begin with. So at that point, we want to filter this is fine. This is fine. This is when we want a dot filter for blog posts that are a blog post and not unpublished, and b dot, and so that's going to be, if I look at our model for a blog post, there we go. So we should have a publication status on here. Unpublished. I don't think unpublished even make it through. I think they get filtered out automatically. No, because it's there. ID summary tech versions unpublished. So I can take that and say it is neither, we're going to filter out any card where either there's no, so it has to have, we only want the ones where there is actually a something, so that'll filter at null and 95, and not log that unpublished. And so that should prevent the ability to, the concept of ending up with an undefined or whatever. So if I have, let's say I have, if I go ahead and add to my related blog post, and this really matters for spooky stories, among other things. If I have my related blog posts, right? And then I go ahead and forcefully add a null and an undefined and one with unpublished as the title, unpublished. But then I put, so right now that one should go through because it doesn't have the unpublished property. But, and now back to the same thing as last time. I need to actually restart for that to take effect. So we end up in a situation where I need to go find, it's interesting that it didn't, should have. See, this one should have shown up because That one should have I am a block. That one should show up. Right now, if I remove the filter for a second, we should have a bunch of garbage. And we don't. Why? Because I added these three in there. I think it may be because I cap it at 3, so if I kill this, now what happens? Oh, I didn't start. Shit. I didn't restart. Spooky, scary skeleton. Spooky, scary. No skeleton. No related blog posts. Right. Was it maybe didn't have any to begin with? That may be part of the problem. I need a blog that for sure has related blog posts. That's gonna be harder to find. I think my float one may. CSS float. Float. Should put a search on this one of these days. There we go. I think float. Why is it not agreeing with me? Because I took out the filter. So if I do, it's gonna... Why? Why? Is it not doing what I think it should? I'm gonna put this over here. Put you over here. Let's find one that, let's quit playing game. Let's go find one that has for sure related blog posts. Related blog post. That one does. Nope. That one does. So that is spooky, scary. What's its title? Some people won't appreciate being carded. Okay. Spooky. There we go. So you have some for sure. There we go. There's all of your failures. So, and then I am a blog, which is totally there. Cool. So now we can test that the filter actually works because it is actually doing its job correctly. Just had to find data, the place with the right data. That's all. All right. So in our handle blog here now, what we want to do is filter for anything that has that is a blog post. So that should get rid of these two, but this one would still exist because I haven't told it it's unpublished yet. So let's save that, restart, and see what we've got. That successfully gets rid of, thank you. It's funny, I call crisis about no more coffee and magically coffee appears. Thank you, Bullhabia, for magically summoning coffee onto my desk. Alright, so at this point, the two went away, the null and undefined, so that's working correctly. So now if we add this one that says unpublished true, now this last garbage one should go away. And that should allow for a blog post to be pre-prepped essentially in terms of their linking until it is ready to be published. And so now without an empty card. Yep. So now we're good. And it solves that problem entirely. So now I can get rid of the little garbage tester stuff I did here. And we can clean that up like so. Let's this can go back to being full screen. Just full screen me, will you? Thanks. So now we're just filtering and we don't. So we're filtering for anything, we're filtering for the object being truthy and not unpublished. Awesome. And that takes care of this blog issue. So 169. So we're going to go ahead and commit that. Let me double check my change just to make sure I don't have any garbage in there. But I think that's literally, yeah, that's literally the change. Cool. So that was 169. Commit. Web 169. Related blogs. Filter for unpublished. Status. Push. And then we can go ahead and pull request that. Ta-da! Pull request. Oh, look at that. That has already been approved. So let's go ahead before we pull request. Let's go ahead, since it's been approved, let's go ahead and merge it. Then I'm going to go ahead and, since it has now been merged, we're going to go ahead and go to our trunk branch, which we call latest in this particular case. I'm going to pull, I'm going to get checkout web 169. We're going to rebase from latest. We'll have diverged, so we're going to get push force with lace. Not that anybody would have done anything to have branch anyway, but you know, just for good habit. And now I can go ahead and do my pull request on something that is clean and rebased. So we're gonna pull request, create pull request on that, which is nice and clean. Yes, reviewers. And then create and pull request. So that is the Twitch streaming is giving me warnings about upcoming ads. So let's go ahead and go run those forcefully now instead of it randomly interrupting me while I go figure out what we're gonna do next. See you back in like 2 minutes. All right, and we're back. I think the next thing we're going to work on is the professional training page being dynamic based on the PDF. So currently we have this option over here to get more information about our training team. You put that and you download the PDF. What we're going to do is right now this would trigger Zapier for us to know that, you know, because of can we contact you or send you marketing info. If they click yes, there's the pipeline. So I'm going to bypass that really quick and go to find download. What does it say? Download training info page. So the downloaded training info page goes to that. which is download training info. Cool. We're basically going to skip this for the moment. And ignore the form validity and let you download anyway. So if I download, did it download? There we go. There's my download, and I believe this is static and has nothing to do with the current page. So what we want to do is essentially whatever this page is, right? We want to go ahead and make that downloadable as a PDF. And so in order to do that, if I go ahead and inspect this, and we go ahead and make a styles print version. So if I go ahead and do a, go on to, I think it's, where is this? If I go in here and go, there should be, a way to emulate, I think it's in here. Nope. Nope. No. I want, where did they stick it? There was once upon a time away. No, that's not it. Where did it go? I might, oh, I'm too far down. No. The heck? And where did they put it? Because it was, there used to be an ability to get more tools to be able to do emulated stuff, including the preview for print, which is what I want in this particular use case. And it's not here. It used to be. How do I simulate sources? Like there was a whole way to add tools. Something's amiss. What am I missing here? More tools. There it is. There it is. More tools. All right. And in our more tools, we want, let's go ahead and peek at that. Oh, cool. That's actually really cool. Huh. Nice. Nice. All right. Not what we were going for though. What I although quite interesting. What we wanted is layers, media, rendering. And so now in rendering, we can go ahead and do CSS emulation to media type print. Okay. And so now we see what it would look like in print, which isn't terrible other than we don't want to see this form. And the footer nav has limited value, right? So the rest of this, however, works just fine collapses just fine. So let's go ahead and imprint. So in our blog, this is not the blog page, sorry. This is the professional chaining page. So we kind of need to set some default print things, right? So forms in general, there's no real reason to show them. This whole entire read more, quite frankly, there's not really a need to show it. And it is in our call to action section, ready to learn more. CTA. How would I know? Because this is more than likely a widget of some sort. Where's the download? Download. Training info page. There it is. And there's the form. So this download training info form, we're going to want to take its parent container, essentially. We're going to want to find the closest section to go ahead and hide the parent, right? So we're going to want to do and since it's a widget, we're going to go to styles. And what we're going to tell the styles is that I don't think we have any print medias yet. At media print. We do have some. Okay. What we're also going to want to do is we're going to want to do a section has, and how far deep is it? It's an immediate child. So we're going to do has an immediate child of that display none. And so now, because we have it emulated for print, it should go away. It did not. Oh, because it's inside of content. It's inside of content. So we'd essentially want to do that content, which it would always be that content. Now will it go away? Refresh. It did not. Why? Section. Content. Form with an ID. Section has. Do I need a space? I might need a space. Nope. Why not? It should have worked. If I remove that, that's going to cause some other problems though. Interesting. Why is has not working? Or is it our media print that's not working? That has should be showing up. Let's just go. We'll worry about specificity here in a second. Do you have an extra white space? That's probably not helping our case, although it shouldn't really matter. Interesting. Why is has not working? All right. We're emulated for media type print. So let's take the let's take the media query out of the equation. It has a single, and I'm just being stupid. Yeah, that's why we need the specificity of it. So we agree. So has an immediate child of content and download. So now it should be go away at all standpoints, regardless of the media type. Cool. And so now if I do that, but inside of our media query, it's away. But if I change my emulation to no emulation, it should come back. It is here. It is not. It is here. It is here. It is not. Perfect. The other piece that we want to get rid of in print, or in if you're printing, right? Because this does not really matter. We want to keep the copyright, but we don't want the nav footer. So it's the nav that's in the footer, right? So we can in here go. That's all the header stuff. Actually, this could just go in this list, because it's all displayed on. We're all hiding the stuff that we don't want to see. We also want to hide the footer nav. So now print bye footer nav. No emulation. Footer nav comes back. I kind of like the line being there. Nav. Yeah, but we do want to get rid of the element as a whole, so this is fine. So now that we have something that potentially looks good in print form, so if I go Control P on this, we end up with something that is mildly problematic in terms of test contrast because I'm in dark mode. And so what we need to do is account for making sure that when you print, you're essentially always printing light mode. So in our over here, when we say dark, we need to do an ats media not print. If media is not print, then we can go ahead and apply the dark mode, because otherwise that's going to cause some problems because printer paper is white. And so we'll end up with color contrast issues. So now, because I'm emulated, no more, okay, we do have some problems with that. Why do we have some problems with that? This should work. Does this seem, because we are getting this double image up here. Image logo white, image logo. And this has a class of light and a class of dark. So why is it that the class of light and the class of dark aren't getting applied correctly? Because the dark mode one has a display none. Oh, on light. This needs to be on HTML. Bingo. And so now our print version looks good. And if even though I'm technically in dark mode, so if I go to screen, right, I'm in dark mode and I control print. That's interesting. We have a problem with our navbar. Close me correctly. Okay, we need to make sure that our print doesn't actually show up, and it didn't do it. It's interesting that it didn't do it correctly. Okay. So if I click Control P, what's going on? We have our nav that should be closed. Interesting. Because it shouldn't show at all in this print mode or nav at all. Did I break it? When I did this is gonna be on HTML and body. I mean, not that it makes too much of a difference, but did I break our media? Because nav, menu extended, and all that should all be display nones. And it's in the media, yeah. Nav. Yep. So why? So if I do this and I do emulation print, that's good. Oh, because I was running an emulation, so maybe that's part of why it was not working. Yeah, okay. So now we have the color contrast as it should be. Now what we need to do is go ahead and make sure that the footer includes the website, right? Because this would be a print version that maybe somebody might export or download or whatever, and nowhere does it mention the website, which is mildly problematic. So what we're going to do is cancel that. In the footer of the application itself, so in here, after this nav, so footer, the footer nav, that's just the footer nav now. So what we want is the, it might be in the skeleton. I might have it in like the page skeleton altogether. Yep, there's the copyright. And what we're gonna want to do then is div class equals website, and that is going to be andromedagalaxtic.com. And so there, now what happens is if I have that there, it's just gonna show. right? AndromedaGalactic.com. But what we want to show is we only want that to show on print. So what we want to do is in our footer CSS, right? Control find footer. So on the footer CSS, what did I call that? I called it website. We want by default that website to be a display none. But in print, so at media print, there we go. What we want is the footer dot website to be display block, and we're going to give it a margin top 1 rem just to keep it clean. And so now if I go back to our website, it should disappear when not emulated, right? It should, nope, that's the preversed. In print it should show up perfect, and on screen it disappears perfect. All right, so now with the print, what we need to do is find I need to figure out how I did the other one, but we're essentially going to use Puppeteer to generate the page based on that. So, and I think I had already done it in this project. So let's go look at our eleventy.json or eleventy.js, and I think did I do it in this particular project? I think so. I did. Gulp file Puppeteer. Okay. And it did as part of the gulp. To download the press kit. So now we want to do the same thing for the page. So we want to do the same thing for this, the professional training page, and go ahead and make the professional training page. Was it that one? I don't know. Now I need to check the task. Yeah, professional training. So we need to make this professional training page automatically download with the, made it generate its own PDF for download. So we're going to use the same system we did for the press kit. We're going to rename this function instead of convert to PDF. So we're going to essentially do the same thing for this one. So we're going to do file path. Okay, so what we're going to do is do because for the press kit we actually did a print page. So because I basically this is going to be the same. Oh, I did have it down here. Andromeda Galactic press kit. Okay, so the footer template. Gotcha. So what we want to do is parameterize this to do the same thing for our current page. So I'm literally going to copy where does this get called? Oh, that's easy enough. Okay. So convert to PDF is essentially going to take a file path, yeah, file path, and that's going to be a string, right? Or file, yeah. And then, all right, I'm in JavaScript, not TypeScript. And then we're going to want to take this title. So we're going to want a title, file path, and page title. Because everything else should be the same. Yeah. So we want, this is going to be handle press kit or generate press kit. And so the file path is going to be this. That stays. And then the page title is going to be just that. Actually, no, because that can stay. Literally, the only thing that needs to change is press kit. And so now we just call return convert to PDF, file path, page title. And then this becomes file, because then all I have to do is that. And then the page title is this part. Okay. And so now we should be able to, we need to be able to find the file name, right? Because press kit and press kit. So what we're going to want to do is const file name equals we have the path. So from the path, we're going to take the file. Let's change this to file path before it annoys me. There we go. We're going to take file path that match. It's going to be the first. There we go. And then it's going to be any number of letters and numbers, or could be anything really. And then a period. And then it's going to be HTML. And then the end of the thingy. And that's going to be 0. We're going to match the first match out of that. And we can double check that really quick if we want to be sure in like regex 101 or something. Let's do that just to be sure. If it loads. Please load. Please load. Please. I beggeth you. I beggeth you load. Apparently loading is not in the books today. For Regex 101. Alright, well, let's live dangerously then. Okay. So, living dangerously. We're going to, because I think this should match. Yeah, because 0 should match. We'll find out soon enough. All right. And so that becomes the file name. Okay. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So we should be able to do, if we look at our public folder, we can see that the page, which is the should be, what do you say, training info, should just be a page. It should be right there. Training HTML, I think. Is your team using frameworks and best practices? I don't know. Is there? Is that what we're starting? Is no. Oh yeah, is your team using the latest framework best practice? So that is in fact the page. Okay, cool. So it is training.html. So we should be able to in our gulp file do generate press kit. Then we can do generate training page. And so that becomes print training. It's just public training. Page title. What is the current page title? It is professional training. And now when we run, so instead of convert to PDF down there, we're going to do generate a press kit and generate training. Okay. So now when we build, we should be able to go ahead and generate from there. And now in our downloads folder in public, in our downloads, we should end up with a professional training page. So let's find out what happens. For the build, in order to run gulp, let's go to our package.json, find what our scripts are, and our package.json says our package to build in order to have, it's basically this run post process is essentially what's going to go ahead and run that gulp. This is what runs the gulp. Because if we look at post-process, right, it's gulp. So let's go ahead and run that to go ahead and try and see about generating that, because it's part of the gulp build. So if I do npm run post-process, let's find out if it's going to. All right, no such file or directory. All right, something went haywire with that. Public downloads, public print press, PDF. Okay. So what did we do? The gulp file that broke the verse. It's the file name that broke the verse. So let's console.log the file name. That's the full file name. Is it supposed to be 1? It is 1, isn't it? And I'm just being... There's the double slash in the path and also a double extension. Yeah, I know. It's because my match is being dumb. Magic. The match is... Well, match is not getting undefined. Why is my match being dumb? Let's go back to... see if regex 101 will load. And of course it's down. The one time it is down. Okay, so if I do, great. If I do, I need this. If we do, I'm gonna go to the terminal or the console. I'm gonna go to my console. But what I really want to do is grab, and then I'm going to grab my file path. We're going to do my file path that match. Okay, and we see that 0 is the full thing. Because what I really want to grab, what I actually want to grab is only this part. So that creates a group now. But it is giving me public and training. And I only want the first slash. So I want a dot that's not a slash. I need anything that's not a slash right here. So what I actually want to do is anything that's not a slash. And so now I get training, which is actually correct. That's what I want. And if I test the other one on this, if I try, so training is working correctly. And if I test this, so if I go back up one and test this string, I should get just press kit. And now I get just press kit. Perfect. So this is actually the regex I want to write and not what I originally had. So this inside this match. Take the entire match. All right, and this is how we troubleshoot things when regex 101 is down. Apparently, it works. So what we're gonna do is change that regex. That does our file name or that file match. This dot match was not working. Now it should. And so now we can go ahead and run the post process. Then end up with in our downloads. Where's our downloads? So public downloads. We now have a training.pdf. Beautiful. And so now our download over here, download file, go to definition, would actually, instead of being Andromeda web training.pdf, it's just going to be training.pdf. And so now we can actually check what that PDF looks like because it's been generated. Oops. Yeeks. I guess it would help if we start. And we can get rid of that undefined in there somewhere. That undefined can go away because it's working now. And we can check if this actually works. Please. Ta-da. All right. We're going to go in. We're not in print. We're going to go no emulation. Download training info page. Download. And did it download? It did. All right. We have some CSS problems. Noted. But outside of the CSS problems, the content is there. So that's good to know. Now, why did the CSS not work in this particular use case is a very good question. Because I believe that with our others that we auto-generate, like our press kit, let's validate that. It should, if I look at our press kit, open containing containing folder. There we go. So if I look at our press kit, that gets generated correctly. If I open, so why did training not take the CSS? What am I doing that's special with press kit that did not happen with training? No idea. What did we do special with the print test kit? Print test kit. There we go. It has its own everything. That's the magic. That's the magic. It has everything embedded. So essentially what we're gonna have to do is make that happen. Yuck. Is that really what I have to do? Glorious. That throws a monkey wrench in what we're doing because the press kit is something that is very deliberate. I'm looking at the press kit is a known quantity with announcements and our latest news clips, right? Our latest publications, whatever. Training. It's doable. I'll have to think about. We need to do. If I take. Let's say I take the same thing I did for. Where's the prints layout? If I take the same download training file. No, that's not what I want. Where's my PDF templates? There we go. Let's say I take this, and instead of that takes a rename, that becomes training. And so now this becomes print training. So where did it get press kit? I don't know. That stays put as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so where did we get press kit from? Add filter press kit. Okay. So we're gonna do filter training, and that ID is going to end up being we're gonna go find it. Andromeda website. Ta-da! Ignition. Let's go find it. Where's that training page? I can get its ID. Professional training, there it is. So we're gonna take its ID. We're gonna restart that. Then we're going to go ahead. That becomes training, which now works. Why are we mad? Oh no, we're not mad. Okay, good. And then we need to update gulp to, instead of taking training, is going to get print training. And reminder of time. Yeah, I should get going. And then we're going to npm run gulp. So run post process. Please work. Which should regen the PDF. Please work. And so now if I open that downloads, our training.pdf is massively missing content because that page has a slightly different structure. In other words, I need to do the structure differently. However, we have something we can work with now. Okay. And I think the something we can work with on the templating side of things, if we go to, because I need to figure out what its template is and so on, and then adjust from there. But it means we now have something that can actually work to go ahead and generate that PDF the way we want it to. So that's cool. But I think this is a good stopping point now that we actually have something generating with the correct header, footer, and so on, with, you know, dynamically without breaking what we currently had. I think this is a good place to get going for this evening. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I hope you all had a wonderful start to your week. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great one, everybody.